except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn, because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Times gone by, I've traded black dirt into clay. I thought my memories would end. One street over's now 1,000 miles away. When I close my eyes, I'm back to where I've been. In this life, there's nothing certain except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn, because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. I took a walk one street over from my home, cracked and broken asphalt everywhere. I could have ended up just like that broken road, with a dead end in my path. Thank the Lord that I've got more than that. In this life there's nothing certain except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing. I won't forget the lessons that I don't deserve, because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I love today.
Hello, welcome to it. This is 1100 WSGI. I almost said WLAC. My goodness, that was a throwback. I mean, I said that for so many years. I'm also, you know how you just kind of blink out for a second? Oh my goodness. But no. We are right here on 1100 WSGI, and I'm so thankful to be. And I'm joined by our assistant directors of school here in Robertson County. We've got Melanie Dickerson, and we've got Steve Sorrells, and we were just talking about the history that you guys have here. And we were talking about, growing up in this county. And I mean, I think that's what some people forget about what we have going on here in Robertson County. How many people that are in the school system that are natives? That, I mean, because you've got, this is home.
It is.
And I mean, you talk about skin in the game when you're working within the, this is it. I mean, you really want to make sure it's what it needs to be, because this is yours.
That's right.
We've reminded our staff as we've gotten these back to school meetings going. Of course, the Robertson County schools and the history of public education here goes way back. And obviously, when people think of Robertson County and our communities inside of it, they typically drift back to that small rural tobacco growing country, but we do recognize that we are the 14th largest public school district in the state of Tennessee. And so when you consider 146 school districts and we're number 14, that puts us up there. We're not the mega districts like you would see in Nashville Metro or Chattanooga, Knoxville, those kind of things. But when you put us at number 14, that ranks us as being big. So it's a challenge for us to have to often think big sometimes. And that's kind of where we are. And as a reminder to our staff as we got started back this year.
And also we're the second largest employer in Robertson County.
Oh yeah, for sure. And and my husband and I, we just have so much fun being a part of it. And we keep inviting it. We were talking about Muriel. We need you to come back and teach math. We'll just call you out right here. I mean, we've already been talking about you this morning. But anyway, we were talking about and there's so if you've not considered looking into some jobs and things like that, I can't recommend working in the school system enough, especially if you're like myself and you're retirement age. It's just talking to these kids and working with these kids. I just love it so much, and they seem to really kind of get a kick out of the fact that I'm so old. I mean, because they asked me questions about broadcasting. I was like, I started in radio in 1980, and they go, they just can't even comprehend that. It is just so funny.
You
But
bring up a good point, because we probably have a place for everybody somewhere. There's
that's just it.
needs all over. We're probably as good a shape as we've been in a while as far
Yeah.
as classroom teachers. But when you think about all the classified positions we have, everything from bus drivers, building grounds, the work is there, and obviously the connections and relationships that you build with students is what's key to that. So we invite anybody that might have an interest, come check us out. Our human resource department would love to talk to you.
For sure. And you can just get on the website and look at job opportunities and just see all the opportunities. Here's something that Mark and I, we get up and during school, we walk super early in the morning, and it's just, I don't know why I don't do that all year. It's just so early, but it's so peaceful. You know what I mean? It's just so neat. But anyway, we were talking this morning about why more teachers aren't driving buses. And because there's only a couple that are doing it, and we need drivers so desperately. And it fits really well if you're teaching. I mean, you can take your bus home, and that's your transportation, and you pick kids up on the way, and it just works so well. And so I just kind of plant that seed, because it's a conversation he and I were having this morning. I said, how many more? Because we really pushed hard to get some of the teachers to pick up and drive. And I said, did we get any more? And he says, I don't think so. I think it's just, me and Mr. Rushing that are doing it. And do you know of any other teachers that are doing it?
I'm not aware of it. Of course, the challenge is the training that's now required in advance of that, and all the certification. So we knew that in order for that to happen, you'd have to start early in the summer. And that's a commitment for a lot of our certified staff anyway, as far as what they're doing with their summer time. We would also look for classified positions that could also double up to that degree. And we know that while it's not ideal, because it's a part-time job that you're fitting in behind your full-time job, there's things that on the school level that has to be worked out as far as your schedule, right? So, because it would be before and after that that's taken away. But the need is there, and we're trying everywhere we can to try to recruit for that, and find places where it's a mutual benefit on both sides.
Well, and I even told if I weren't doing the radio, I would probably do it, because I drove whenever my kids were in school, and we ran the bus program for Good Pasture, and so my husband and I, and so we both got our license, and so they're really. Driving a bus is fun, quite frankly. I enjoyed it. I got a kick out of it, and so I know, and they keep talking to me at the bus shop, you going to get recertified, LaVern? Just for field trips and things like that. Right. And honestly, if I'd had time this summer, I might have gone ahead and got the certification again, just so I could help out. Maybe take a bus load of kids home in the afternoon, if I needed to. But again, that time factor, trying to get recertified, I just did not have the time this summer. And it may be something I really examine in the year ahead.
Time is a valuable resource for all of us. I would encourage, though, as you think about where we are toward the back end of our careers and retirement, and the fact, especially a part of a TCRS, which is a great retirement plan. But when you think about adding your high five and that $29,000 to $30,000 a year of bus drivers' salary can be on top of that. It can be substantial.
It can be, and it can really be something you can work towards. Now, we're not going to just talk about that today. The reason why they are in here, we have Dr. Weeks come in on the day after the school board meeting, and that's his slot. But once the school year starts, the first Wednesday of the month is dedicated to talking to our principals across the board, all of our principals across the school district. And so we're working to get those scheduled. But Dr. Weeks, whenever he was meeting with you guys, started putting the schedule together, and I saw he had you guys coming in today. These are our assistant directors. And I thought, well, this is great. I love this. And it gives us an opportunity to just meet you guys and understand. Why don't we start this way? Because y'all are different in that you have different specialties. Right. So what do you oversee? I was looking, I pulled up on the website just to kind of familiarize myself, but let's let you go ahead and tell, what is your focus as an assistant director?
My main focus is on academics. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that I would like to do is to kind of introduce the new faces in our schools on the admin teams. And Dr. Joseph Bradley, Dr. Andrea Bringard, and Dr. Hubble King will be running the ship at Coopertown Middle School this year.
So those are all Coopertown people.
They're all Coopertown Middle.
Okay, very good. So it's a whole new
team there.
Okay.
At Greenbrier Middle, we have a new assistant principal, Stephen Pelt.
Okay.
He was at Coopertown Middle last year, and he has transferred to Greenbrier Middle this year.
Okay.
At Kreisel Elementary, we have Dr. Emily Kane, who is coming to us from Sumner County this year. So this is her first year in the district. At Joe Burns High, we have Allison James, and we have Ken Neitz, who will be serving as assistant principals, along with Dr. Corey Willoughby.
Okay.
And at Springfield High, Brittany Beck. So those are our new faces on admin teams across the district.
Okay. And now, when you say you take care of the academic, then are you the one as far as the teachers too, or
right
would come in with all that? So, we mentioned the need and the different teachers. So how are we doing then as far as our teachers? Do we have do you have one of those things out there? It's like, I really need a math teacher over here. Muriel.
Math
going to kill me.
Math continues to be a need across the district. So we welcome anyone with an interest in math at giving us a call. But this year, as Mr. Sorrells has already sort of alluded to, it may be the best year we've had in the last several years at getting positions filled and having full staff opening the year. We still have a few isolated positions to fill, but we're currently working diligently to get those filled. And a lot of it is just completing the onboarding process. So we're in better shape this year than we've been probably, I'd say, in the last 4 years.
Well, seeing the Elmores not at our school at Greenbrier was so odd today, and Lolo, our cosmetology, it was just that was weird for me because I'm starting my 5th year, but they're iconic, and so, but I met the replacements, they're and just lovely people. So, but it's different. We've got quite a few new faces at Greenbrier.
Right.
So, but just a wonderful staff. We always do. But so there's, get online and look at these jobs. And as far as the new principals, we'll get to meet them over the course of the broadcast calendar while we're in school. We will not, like if we're on a fall break or spring break and that hits, we'll adjust it. But I think everything's fallen pretty evenly. But anyway, but so academic then, would it be as far as, are you in charge of if you have academic issues where kids are needing to go to alternative school and all that? Do you oversee that side of it?
That's kind of a crossover between our two roles. At a certain point, we are responsible. Everyone is responsible for those children.
I got you.
And certainly their success in school is important to each of us. And once they, if a poor choice has been made and they're headed towards alternative school, then that is student services that sort of oversees that process. And Mr. Sorrells is more aligned to working with those folks, but we all have a part in that.
And what's beautiful is when you see a kid that maybe is in alternative school and then comes back and then thrives, and that happens. I know I had he graduated a few years ago. I had no idea that before I got there, he was just one of my best students. And I love seeing that. And I've seen that happen several times. And I think that's beautiful because, you have to take a pause and let's see what you got. And I just love to see those stories. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. Now, what are your primary focuses? And I'll make sure, okay, turn our phones off. It's like, I thought I did. But what is your focus as far as the assistant director side?
Ms. Vivio, my role is operations of the school district. So I point to Ms. Dickerson and what she does, because anytime you ask the question, why do you go to school? Well, we go to school to learn, right? So so it's all about instruction. It's all about where we are with the academic side of things. And that's what kind of drives the ship, so to speak, or drives the train, is what we've always looked at. But as far as operations are those things that allows you to open the doors in the morning in order for students to come in to be able to learn. So anything from transportation to building the grounds to the roles of student health and student services and all the other supports that are in line and in place. So I kind of would be the umbrella to oversee and to help and support. Oftentimes I explain my role as being a troubleshooter when there are issues and problems, and those supervisors, coordinators will come and we'll sit down and talk about it. Food, nutrition, a number of those things that you got to have in order to operate schools. So operations will be those things that allow us to be able to open doors in the morning to let our students come in to learn.
Okay. And so, we were talking about leaks and different things. You'd be the one that we'd go to when those things happen.
There's always a process.
Okay.
So we report it to building and grounds.
Yeah,
but building and grounds
okay.
certainly be a part of that.
Sure,
Mr.
sure,
Corbin
sure.
and his staff do the work there for repairs. And of course,
Sure.
Mr. Hardaway of Transportation, Ms. Gregory of Food and Nutrition, Ms. Savelle of Student Health, Dr. Hebbar of Student Services. So those are the folks that I work with
Yes.
and closely
I'm just kidding.
on a daily basis. Yes.
Well, see, that's a conversation I have with Dr. Weeks all the time, is that, these doors in admin are absolutely open. But if you have a problem in the school and you're like, your kid comes home and says, my teacher, da, 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 da. First thing is to communicate, email the teacher and then the principal, or, within the school. You don't go knock on central office and say, it's like there is a chain of command. And usually it can be like, oh, okay. Well, and maybe something your child's coming home and saying, well, that isn't quite what it was. Kids tend to do that sometimes,
We encourage anytime
Yes.
there's a question to reach
Yes.
out. And so even if it's our office to reach out,
Sure.
we'll point you in the right direction as far
Right.
as where that might need to start at. Obviously, we try to keep up with everything, but we don't know everything.
Yeah.
So we have to dig back ourselves sometime to find out what the results of those things may be. And as Ms. Dickerson said, there's a lot of crossover when you think about technology, for example. So that's operations, but boy, it's more and more instruction nowadays too. So finance is also an area that kind of is a hybrid, if you will. So we closely work together, but again, everything points toward instruction. And if we're not increasing and achieving with students, then we're not fulfilling our mission, right? So working together to make that happen.
Well, and that's something that we talked a lot about, is how we are performing as far as rankings and improvements and all those kinds of things. And we're seeing improvements. And I know we have it at Greenbrier. We've been excited, to see those levels raise and to see any kind of an increase, because it's just, there's a lot of people working really hard to make it happen, but it takes everybody. And that's what a lot of people don't, when you see scores and things like that, and you want to point to the teachers, well, it's the parents and the students, because if you're not getting your students there, attendance is huge, huge. I start my kids yesterday. The ones that didn't bother to come on first day because it was half day. That counts as an absence, guys. That's an unexcused absence right there. And I told my kids, I said, I take some really cool field trips. We go to studios and different things like that. You don't get to go if you have any unexcused absences.
There you go.
Period. And I said, if you want to go on my field trips, you better be here. And that's the thing. And it just, I cannot imagine being a math teacher, an English teacher, science, social studies, all these things that are tested subjects, trying to make sure that your kids are getting absolutely everything they need to be prepared when the testing arrives and making sure, not because you're worried about yourself, you're worried about those kids because it counts on their grade too. And you're not getting your kids to school and they're not getting the instruction. You got to get your kids there, guys. You've got to make sure they're there. And I think that we've really doubled down on that and we've improved across the board big, haven't we?
So
You want
I think, go ahead.
Well, attendance is huge,
Yeah.
and we look at what is called chronic absenteeism as a measure to see how often our kids are missing school. And this year we have seen improvement in that. Our data is coming out from the state. It's currently embargoed, and we are excited to share some good news when we can. We still have things we are going to be working on, but we are seeing some things to celebrate.
Yeah.
And absenteeism is one of those areas, and it is huge. You're right. We spend a lot of time, or we expect our teachers and our administrative teams to spend time at the beginning of the school year. So this is key time for ensuring that those conversations around being at school every day are happening, along with consequences for discipline. We have what is called a code of conduct that is being shared with all students in all grade levels. And so those things are huge. And we hope that we're taking the time at the beginning of the school year to make sure our students understand what is expected of them in regards to discipline, in regards to being at school. And I feel like that's the best way to start school. We just finished up most of our open house events where parents came in and received information. Yesterday was the first half day of school. It was an exciting time. I know Greenbrier High had a huge celebration. I saw evidence of that online. And so it was a celebration at getting the doors open. And now it's time to kind of take a pause and get all of those pieces communicated to our kids so that they have no doubt what the expectations are. We want our kids at school every day unless they're sick.
Yeah.
And once they miss a certain number of days, they're going to be counted chronically absent. And there is a process for dealing with absences, and I think it starts at 3 this year. I think after 3 absences, there are things that should be happening at the school level. And then, it kind of climbs from there,
Right.
3, 5, 7, and so forth. So I encourage parents to be very familiar with the student handbook that is online. You can get on our website and find a copy of that if you don't know where to get it. Like I said, it's being put in front of students this week as they move through the first few days of school.
yeah.
But
Yeah, we're going through it. And
Yeah.
and I think too, one of the, we talk about the not being able to do extracurricular activities, but what they've implemented in the high schools with the exam exemptions, I think has been a huge help because the kiddos that were able to say, see you later, and leave their fellow students in school, it got their attention, and I think that's a huge factor. I really do. It helps them a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's been definitely a big plus. I tell you what, let me do a break here and we'll come back and we'll continue our conversation, talking about all things Robertson County Schools. This is the first of our monthly conversations with administration across the county. Every first Wednesday, we talk to principals, but today we're getting to talk to our assistant directors. So it's wonderful. And if you have questions, you can throw them up in comments and we'll share those with them as well. But we're going to pause and we're going to talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty. If you missed the show Monday, really encourage you to get in and watch that. It is online in several places that you can go and watch it. But we talked about historic properties and some of the things that they have on their listings right now. They have a website, homesofyesterday.com, where you can go and check out some of the historic properties that they have. The Rosenwald School, they did not, a lot of people didn't realize it was a third Rosenwald School that's still standing, and it's in Cottontown, and it's a residence, and it's for sale. You can own some history. We came up with all kinds of fun plans for that when we were talking with Barry and Rebecca on the show on Monday. But if you want to own a piece of history, go and check out Homes of Yesterday. They've also got a pre-war home, East Nashville home, that's really cool. Solar panels on top of it. It is a neat house. There's a farmhouse, a 1940s farmhouse near Milldale that has, it's not technically a cave, but it's kind of a cave, and it's cool. You can get in it, and it's cooler and it's neat. But they explored that cave. It's a really neat property, and it's 703 Fifth Avenue West here in Springfield. In the historic district, they've got a home. So they've got all kinds of great properties available for you in the historic district, in some of the historic places around town. All kinds of wonderful opportunities for you to look into being a realtor. If that's something you want to do, we talk about the different folks that have come on board with Exit Prime Realty all the time. Brandy and Samuel Hastings are a couple of the newbies. If that's something you want to do, maybe you want to do it part-time, they would love to train you and mentor you. Barry is a broker here in Springfield, has an office in Springfield. Rebecca's office is in White House. And together, along with a whole lot of other folks, they are Exit Prime Realty. You can connect with them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buy, B-U-I, robertsoncounty.com, or give them a call, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425, or 7424, and let them know U-Turn sent you. Where do we want to go from here? I know y'all both have a couple of lists here of things you want to go over. So what do we want to talk about next?
I would want to follow up just for a moment on what Ms. Dickerson was sharing about chronic absenteeism, because that has been a huge emphasis for our district last couple of years. And as you noted, it's different based on the grade level. I mean, the high school students have more control over their attendance, whereas in the elementary grades, it's more about parents and them understanding. And chronic absenteeism, while it's not new, it's something that needs to be emphasized because of the awareness that any absence impacts learning, right? So we, as in operations, our goal is to make sure that students are sitting in a classroom to learn. That's the best place for them to learn, and it's about return to the classroom on so many levels. So we've made some great strides there, great improvements, but it goes back to something else you alluded to as well, accountability. So here we are with this data that you're talking about, and the center of what we're doing is not all about the scores. It's about relationships. But if we're not building relationships, we're not going to get the score. So they do go hand in hand. And regardless of how we feel about data and accountability, I mean, those are the rules that have been written for us. And as a result of where we are right now, we didn't make up the rules. We're having to play the game with the rules. And so we are proud, though, of the strides that are being made in our district, and we're heading in the right direction. Not where we want to be yet, but we're heading in that right direction for sure, right? So
absolutely.
I just want to throw that in, too, to finish that conversation.
I'm so glad you put it that way, because I say that all the time, because I dipped my toe in the political waters. People are they're like, you're in the school systems. We need to change the schools, blah, 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 and I'm like, well, then why don't you come and work with us? Come on in here. Because this is like you said, this is the system that has been built, and this is what we've been given, and we have to work with it. And the only way you can affect change is by getting in there and getting some skin in the game.
Yeah,
people just don't, I really get tired of that. It's like all all the things you see on social media, and they have no idea what they're talking about.
We've been doing it for a long time.
You have, and
we missed the good old days as much as anybody.
I got you.
The fact is that there's not any industry that doesn't have change, and it evolves to where we are now. So a lot of the learning science, and it's amazing to me when I hear them talking about the science of reading and what all things I never realized as a teacher that you needed to know and understand. So we've come a long ways as far as understanding those things and putting those things in place. And just like any other industry, we've evolved to the point that we are now, and it's not going to go back to the way it was. It is what it is.
Exactly. And we have to adjust and adapt. And now here's something too that really concerns me. And I don't know that we can speak to it real well, but I had two students that I was super excited to have in my class, in their seniors. they've gone homeschool.
Mm.
And they're missing their senior year. And what is going on with this? Has some homeschool producer made it easier to do? I mean, what is going on with that? Because it breaks my heart that those two, because they're fun, great students, and they're rushing into, I don't know. I wish I could just sit down and talk to them, because I had them in class before. I was excited to see them come back in class, and I'm like, what are y'all doing? And I'm hearing that across the board. Can y'all speak to that in any way?
I don't have any information
Yeah.
on, kids. Our enrollment right now is pretty stable.
Okay.
So, we have kids who leave every year, kids who come in.
New ones, because the area's growing.
Right.
Yeah.
But our enrollment, we're kind of watching that closely right
Okay.
now, and it appears to be pretty stable from the
Okay.
previous year. But it's not uncommon for
Yeah.
students to leave us for homeschool, for private school. But then we have other students who enter our
Yeah.
district.
Yeah, we have I have a new kid in my class that came out of Davidson County, and so I mean, but I mean, parents, if you're listening and your kids start talking about homeschool, make sure they really think it through, because maybe something that seems like a real easy answer just isn't the right answer, because I don't know. I hate to see these kids rushing into adulthood in the way they are. That you're missing out on something really special. And I don't know. I hated to see those were two that just absolutely on my radar yesterday. I'm like, what in the world? But anyway,
I think that's one of the things that we try to review and look at, and
Mhm.
especially the needs that we have across our district with the residential growth that we're experiencing in this district. We also need to see school enrollment to reflect that. So
Mhm.
while we have stayed flat, relatively flat, we do try to keep up with where things are, and why have we not matched that residential growth? Is it older folks moving into the community without children, or
Right.
what's the answer? So I think it points to what you're looking at, and again, this is a statewide experience with every school district as far as parent choice that is being provided, and legislation over the last decade has certainly made it easier to withdraw students, but public education still needs to be supported in a huge way, because even here in Robertson County, where public education is what's educating 88% of the school-age children. So you take homeschool, you take private school, you take all the other options that parents now have to educate their child, 88% of them are still in public schools. So we've got a huge lift there to make sure that we keep it strong, we keep it where it needs to be, because it's public education that's going to keep the future of our county, the future of our state and our country at a level that we all want it to be.
And one thing too, all you have to do is just take a look at not that long ago history. We were talking about this school that was built, back in the 40s, the Rosenwald School. Opportunities for education weren't always available.
True.
And it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago. These were schools that were built for the African American community because they didn't have schools,
Exactly.
adequate for them. You don't want to go back there, y'all. I mean, what we've got is nothing's perfect in this world. But man, we're working. You got a lot of, right here, you got 3 people that are working so hard to make sure these kids are getting everything they need, and we love them to pieces. And I've just seen, I've seen some really beautiful results from homeschool, but I've seen some really tragic. We've all got friends that's like, oh, I'm homeschooling my kids. It's like, are you really? Or are they just playing online and then they're just not ready? I've seen it time and time and time again. And a lot of the times it's in the faith community, and it's just, I just encourage you guys to really think those things through. I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole, but I don't know. It just kind of occurred to me.
I'll add it's the age old adage is it's the parent's responsibility to educate a minor child. So
Yes.
they can choose
Yes.
how they want to do that, public school, private school, homeschool. So again, our position is public school is the best place to be, but we also recognize that individual needs and family decisions that have to be made based on circumstances and things that go with it. There needs to be options But we've also countered with our own virtual program here in Robertson County Schools. So when we talk to parents about what they're dealing with and the issues and challenges that they're experiencing, we want to make sure that that's another option, because that allows you to seamlessly move back and forth when things get straightened out and when things get done. It keeps you on track to graduation. It keeps you on track with state standards. So our Robertson County virtual program, Dr. Mary Jo Holmes does a fantastic job with that.
And that's something that I don't know enough about. I need to, as I get more acclimated into the whole role as being a teacher, I learn little things every year. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize we did that, and I learn more about it. So I love that. So where do we want to go next? I've kind of taken us off the road here.
I'll mention another opportunity our district provides is pre-kindergarten opportunity.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't get registered for that and don't even realize it's there. And
Yeah, if you have a child that is 4 by August 15th, they're eligible for our voluntary pre-K program. And we currently have openings at Bransford Elementary, Coopertown Elementary, East Elementary, Greenbrier Elementary, Joe Burns Elementary, and Robert F. Woodall Elementary. So there are great opportunities to get your child acclimated to school, getting some early learning in place. They have a very structured curriculum, and it's very age appropriate. And we just encourage our parents to check it out. They can call the district office and ask for me or ask for Angel Williams, and we would be happy to guide them through that process. But it's missed opportunity when we have that many openings still available.
It really is.
And, it is an income-based program, but I don't want that to cause a parent to be hesitant to apply, because at some point it can transfer over to over income eligible.
Yeah, because I know some people that they want to be able to get the program just for the help with childcare, because it's so expensive, and that early learning that your kids are getting, you just can't, you cannot devalue that. It is so critical to get the earlier you can get these kids, writing their names and reading, and these young ones, they can read a lot sooner than you think they can. I'm so impressed with my grandkids, with what they can do. I'm like, wow, okay, I don't know if we were doing that when I was your age, but you go.
Well, and they can, but that's one of the challenges we face as a school district. Oftentimes kids come to us 2-3 years behind in development where they need to be. And so it's a catch-up game for the first few years of elementary school. And this pre-K program is one way that we can help our children to get to where they want to be kindergarten ready. And speaking of that, our kindergarten kids are kind of transitioning in over the next few days. They're meeting with teachers. They're having conversations. They are on a staggered schedule for the first few days of school. And their first full day, where all kindergarten students arrive, is the 13th.
Oh, okay.
So they're kind of coming in on a slower pace. Our pre-K students are the same. Their first full day is the 18th of August, and our teachers are currently conducting home visits and meeting with parents and having conversations about what their students need.
Home visits even. Well, that's great. That's awesome. And I think that's a wonderful idea to kind of ease these little ones in, so it's not just it's like all day away from mom, that kind of thing. But that's really cool. And that's the thing. We've got so many wonderful programs across the board, and I hope you'll check into it. And we didn't talk prior to school starting about pre-K, and we normally do. And so I'm so glad you brought that up, because if you want to get in that program, you need to, because when will it become available for those that are above the income? Like how long does that last before
Dependent on it's dependent on availability of seats, and then after, and I may have this wrong, but I believe it's Labor Day, somewhere around Labor Day.
I kind of think.
We want to fill those seats.
Is Miss Blue still involved with that?
Yes, Jackie
Okay.
Blue.
I can reach out to her.
She's the coordinator, and we, anyone that has interest, just please call. We will find a way to get them connected.
Very good.
If their child is age, they have to be 4 by August 15th.
Okay, there you go, guys. There's just all kinds of great opportunities. And so now, Mr. Sorrells, have you got something you want to add? You've been sitting there just all quiet. We got to give you a turn. So,
Yes, ma'am.
what else have you got on your list that we haven't hit? And we'll come back to Ms. Dickerson in just a minute.
We built on relationships earlier, how important it is for staff to be developing those relationships with all of our students. 12,000 students, by the way, that are in our doors right now. So relationships are big for us on all levels, and I think it's relationships with the community as well that we look to build. So we appreciate all of our partnerships that we have out there. I think about folks like the sheriff's office and our SROs that are in our buildings. We could talk forever about how important school safety is in this day and age, but relationships with our sheriff's office and our school resource officers, relationships with the family clinic. We've got a great benefit there for employees, and just the work that they're doing for us and trying to manage our staff health and keeping them in the classroom, right? So the employee clinic, I think about Northcrest Hospital and what we're trying to do through student services there. So everything that we're looking to manage community-wide and strengthen those relationships, again, to ensure that public education where it is. I know our employers throughout the county would appreciate our career and technical education programming, and Mr. Will Elliott, who's our new supervisor there, replacing Mark Gregory, a long-time leader in career and technical, and Miss Asia Heineman. I know they've got a lot of goals to reach out to the community, to employers, to strengthen those connections and give students opportunities through work-based learning, internships, and those types of things. So we're constantly reaching out. We're constantly looking out for ways that we can connect and be involved through the chamber office, and give them a shout out because I appreciate the role they're doing in kicking off a back to school and a big pep rally that's being a competition between the schools next Tuesday. So a lot of those things are important for us as we look to get started back into the school year, but we're not satisfied where we are, continuing to find ways to improve and progress. And if folks are interested in being connected to the schools and connected in any way, then if they'll reach out for us, we'll find a way to clue them in.
Absolutely. And I mean, even if you're not looking to be employed, there are so many volunteer opportunities, And you mentioned the chamber, and also through United Way and different things like that, they can connect you. The chamber is the bridge builder to the business community and the different companies and things around town. But United Way is bridge builder to the nonprofits, and they're always interested in working with schools. So let me go ahead and do my other break here, and then we'll come back and reset. Y'all can kind of look at your notes and see what we need to talk about next, anything that we have left out. And we'll continue our conversation with our assistant directors of school here in Robertson County. But we want to pause right now and talk about Chris Armtrap. He and the experienced loan officers over at Valor Mortgage would love to work with you. We had Mandy Christensen in yesterday, and she was talking about his involvement in their kind of I forgot what they called it, but it's where they have their meeting where it's that mixer, kind of that business mixer. He's going to be sponsoring that up in White House, I think maybe next week. But he is just a really outgoing guy and so involved in the community. It seems like every time I sit down and talk with somebody, they're like, I know Chris, he's just such a great person. He helped me with this, or this. And if you're looking for any help with your mortgage, whether it be you want to do a refi, maybe it's you're going to change homes, or it's your first home that you're purchasing, or you're wanting to do some investment property. Are you a veteran? If you're a veteran and you have not explored the options in VA loans, you really need to sit down and talk to them. They also have VHA loan options, conventional and jumbo financing, all the tools you need to get you to the closing table. They've got an office a couple of doors down from our new Capitol Theater, but Chris will tell you, Don't just drop in, because they're out meeting with people all the time. They'll come to your home and meet you in a restaurant, wherever it is. Maybe there's a property that you're, looking at, and you want to meet them and see what's going on there. Well, one of the first things you need to do is see how much you qualify for. And you can do that super simple by giving them a call or make an appointment, 615-671-9178, 615-671-9178, or you can go to valor.mortgage, valor.mortgage, get pre-approved today, and make sure you get all the steps in the right order and work with those experienced loan officers and Chris at Valor Mortgage. They are not going to treat you like a number. They are your neighbors, and they're going to treat you as such. When it matters most, you deserve a lender you can trust, so you can buy with confidence. Buy with Valor. Valor Mortgage. NMLS number 1210804, DBA of Encore Lending Group, NMLS 1249911. Equal housing lender, subject to credit approval. Rates and terms subject to change without notice. Not a commitment to lend. Let them know U-Turn sent you. All right. Did you look at your notes? What are we missing here? What are we missing here? So,
well, one of the big things here in the first few days of school is the traffic. We hear from parents that, I sat out on the highway way too long today. We just ask for patience.
yes.
Our kindergartners have not even begun to start school yet. So it takes, at the elementary level, it takes a few weeks, like at least a couple of weeks, for traffic to kind of get settled and everyone get into a routine. And it does eventually kind of settle down.
Mm-hmm.
If not, then we always take a look at that and try to readjust. But we just need a little time, and be patient. Leave home a little earlier than you might think you need to, especially if your child is going to be getting in after the tardy bell rings. So I just wanted to mention that.
Well, and just put you an Audible book, or take a book with you and sit. Just make it some quiet time. Spend some time in prayer over this school year and all these kiddos. But I can imagine.
Yeah.
And I was in White House yesterday. They had a terrible accident up on the interstate, which brought all kinds of more traffic onto the secondary roads. So if you heard anything about White House heritage,
Right.
it was a little out of the ordinary because of a big wreck up there. And so I'll put my traffic hat on for a minute, and it's like, yes, calm down, be patient. It'll be all right. It'll be all right, y'all. It's so funny. The kids, some of my kiddos, their parents will be like, your teacher's U-Turn LaVern. And so every now and then one of them will go, hey, U-Turn. I'm like, Miss Vivio, young lady. I had several of them yesterday call me U-Turn, and I'm like, who have you been talking to? I get so tickled. But anyway, we digress. What else have you got?
Ms. Vivio, I think about going back to what we were talking about earlier with connections and opportunities for students. I think through all of our extracurricular activities that are involved, athletics are always a big part of that, right? So
Yes, got to talk sports.
Athletics are moving strong. We've got a number of fall sports that provide opportunities. Band, I saw marching band practice at Innovation Academy yesterday afternoon. So I know that students are involved and connected and moving through those things. I wanted to highlight middle school athletics because we have in our county a Robertson County Middle School Athletic Association. It's our own little conference, and something
Cool.
that Mr. Pat Brown started a long time ago that's really worked out well with 6 middle schools. We can have an inter kind of county schedule and then claim and provide a county banner for a school to raise a champion there at before fall break. So this past Saturday, we had the football jamboree at Innovation Academy where all of our 6 middle schools participated. We had volleyball play day last Saturday. This Saturday coming up will be girls soccer. It's the second year that we've had middle school girls soccer. So fall sports are going at it and going strong. One of the things that we've done as a district is provided for, especially for these outdoor activities, Perry weather stations that are implemented. It kind of gives us a real-time feel for local information on lightning strikes and also for heat index. We know how important that is for these outdoor activities, keep up with that, and then for them to implement their protocols that they have in place when they get the alerts. So it gives them these real-time alerts without trying to guess what Nashville is to Robertson County. It's their locations, their campuses, and using those, I think, will be good for everybody going forward.
So when you talk about fall sports, I was trying to go through. I know some districts have golf teams that play now. Do we have golf or just in the spring?
High school. Most of the high schools have a golf team that are participating right now. A couple of middle schools do, but again, those are kind of separate schedules, and you're limited on facilities here. Cross country would be another fall sport that most schools are involved with, so they're going strong with that.
For some reason, I was thinking golf was spring. Is it ever in the spring? Is it always in the fall?
It's been fall for many decades.
Okay.
At one time, it was a spring sport, but that been back when we were in school.
Okay. Well,
It's been a fall sport for many decades.
I try to keep up. I keep up with all of it because we put the news together at Greenbrier, and so that kind of keeps me a little more because I'm not a sports person, and so that pulls me into it. My husband said, if you're going to have Mr. Sorrells in there, you better mention the Packers. Did he tell you that? It's like, because my husband, for those of you who don't know, is from Green Bay. See, is from Packer country. And I mean, there's tickets in the family. They're with his godson now, but Mark controlled them for years and years and years, and his brother. I mean, Mark grew up going to the Packer games. His uncle is one of the original season ticket owners, and they were transferred to Mark before his death, and then Mark's brother, and then out the godson up there, and all that. So I mean, you have to keep them in the family, or you'll lose them.
I told Mark I'm on the list. I hope one day they'll call me.
You think one of these days you'll get them?
Yeah, I'm on the waiting list.
So that's great.
Going back to athletics, I want to emphasize again that there's a lot of opportunities for students. Again, marching bands, we're so proud of what Mr. Baker does with our performing arts throughout the district, but marching band competitions are well in season. You talk about cheerleading and dance, those girls and the work that they're involved with. So there's a lot of that extracurricular work that connects students, and I'm a product of that myself. I don't know where I'd be at without high school athletics. It started everything for us. So very important.
We started a talent show. I mean, my friend Muriel, she had they'd worked with a talent show up at White House Heritage, and I hear her talking about it. So we brought back the talent shows at Greenbrier last year, and we have a fall and then a spring talent show. And I just can't begin to tell you what it's done for relationships, kids that it brought together. It's been just so wonderful to see. And, I want them to be able to produce music in our studio. I mean, that's what it's inspired is, that's my CTE equipment purchases are going to be geared towards making that possible for them to where they can come in and, lay down some guitar tracks or whatever and do some things, recording studio wise. And so it's just been anything like that, just what it opens for kids. And like you said, athletics and the band and all the things, those relationships you build are just ones that you're going to keep for the rest of your life. And I'm seeing that through the music that they've just, discovered this through the talent show. So what else have we got here? I see Lee Marie coming in. We've got another full hour of local programming with the Go Show. So I hope you'll stick around after we head out. What else have we got? You take a look at your list. What are we missing? I've got all my breaks in. So
I will mention another opportunity for our students is a new CTE program that is starting this year. It's kind of a pilot and no pun intended, but it is with aviation out at the Springfield Airport.
Isn't that fun?
And so we're very excited about getting that going. And Mr. Will Elliott and his coordinator, Asia Heineman, are working diligently to make sure it's up and ready to roll. So I did want to mention that's a new program that we've added this year.
I'm going to be real curious. We're having our professional development tomorrow with CTE to get some details on that. Is that like part of the trade school facilitating, or I wonder how
we have an instructor who actually works there.
Oh, wonderful!
And so simulators are being brought in, and students will be doing some pre-work on getting their certification.
I think that's just so exciting, and I mean it's just the cool stuff that we're doing with CTE is just it's. When we started our audio video program, I didn't know we were going to start doing the news. It just kind of, it just the way you can let things just be organic and develop as what each school has for their focus. It was a good thing for Greenbrier High School. It's going to be different over at Springfield. They've got a program. And so it's just you let the kids whenever their interest. I have a lot of people ask me, well, can we do this? I'm like, if that's what the kids are interested in, absolutely. If we can make it happen. So I just love how our CTE programs are adaptable to that, and so it's just a beautiful thing. So anyway, what else are we missing?
I would mention finally that we do have some challenges in our district that we work with, and despite our best efforts, we find ourselves in some precarious situations at times. So, speaking to heating and air across the district, we've got over 2 million square foot of facilities, 22 buildings, and you think about all the mechanical units that we have in the operation. It's not unusual at any one time that we have 1 to 2% of those that would not be working. We have some that have aged out that will need to be replaced, and that's a process that we'll go through for funding and that kind of thing. So just as we look at that, while we're providing the most comfortable environment we can, there may be some situations where they're warm. We ask that parents consider that, and we'll try to give them alerts and heads up as we need to. But we do have water bottle filling stations throughout our building. We'd encourage water bottles to stay hydrated throughout the day, dress appropriately, meeting the dress code, but at the same time, just taking those steps to help facilitate what might need to be done as we go forward, and be patient with us as we work through our details and getting those things corrected and repaired.
Very good. Very good. And if you have concerns too, just, reach out to your school first and start there, and just, follow that chain of command. But doors are always open. Everything that we've ever needed from central office, it's just easy access. And that's so important as a teacher. It's easy access. And so that's brilliant, because I had to get my education to be a teacher in a different district, and to hear how things are done in different districts. We got it good. We got it good. And the open door policy, and just how cordial and everything, it just works really, really well. So I really commend you guys for making it inviting and not intimidating for teachers to come in and say, hey, I just need to talk. Do you have anything before we depart?
No. For those parents who just want to have the question, how can I best help my kid? Communicate with teachers. For our elementary folks, read every night with your child. Reading with them, letting them read if they can. The parent reading to them is the best thing they can do to help their child.
For sure. And, just maybe one more thing, our book bus that we have that goes around to the different neighborhoods and things like that. That's an opportunity. If you don't have books, you can get books from them.
We can help with that.
Yeah, for sure. And so if you need some books in your home, and I guess they're still doing, the Dolly Parton Library is still a thing where kids can just sign up for that and just get. I know my grandkids, a lot of the times, if you have new books that you can donate to our book bus. I mean, that's one of the things. My grandkids are so blessed. And we have books that don't look like they've ever opened them. And I'll take books from time to time over there for the book bus, so they can just hand them off to kids that maybe parents are just not aware that there's these wonderful programs where they can get books free of charge delivered to their house. And those are the things that we can just educate. But our book bus is super cool. It is really neat. It is a neat thing. So anything else? I mean, I think that's about it. So. All right.
Ma'am, appreciate the opportunity. Look forward to our next time together.
Absolutely. And I'm sure I'll see you guys around. Are y'all going to come around to the PDs tomorrow, or professional developments? You're going to be popping in and out at some of them. Y'all will be busy tomorrow, because we'll have stuff going all over the district. So again, school's in session. Watch out for the kiddos. It is a full day of school tomorrow. Schools are closed tomorrow for elections, but we will have professional development across the district. So the teachers, we're all going to be working. Thank you guys for joining us. Lee Marie is on the way next. Tomorrow we'll be visiting with the United Way, and I hope you'll be a part of it. This is 1100 WSGI. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. And again, stay tuned for Lee Marie and the Go Show coming up right after this.